Go.
Hey!
What's up, Facebook world?
It's us. I'm Frank. This is Angela.
We're known as Frangela.
Dude, you didn't hear what I said. That
I
shit
heard
you
what
don't
you
listen
said.
to.
I
He
do
doesn't
listen to you most of the
He
time.
pretends to listen.
Angela will talk whether I'm listening or not, so I'm just kind of used to it after 2 years.
This may be true. So, hello. So, first of all, we have to apologize because we were not available on Friday of last week, unfortunately. We both had stuff going on, and I did a little video.
I was out of town.
Yes.
Angela was baby stuffing.
Yes, I was baby stuffing. We did a little video. I did a little video because Frank wasn't here, and I felt weird. It felt weird doing a video without you, but I just wanted to.
Probably because you have bluebirds over your head.
Oh, that kind of weird. There was that. I was bored.
Hey, alcohol in the morning is not good.
It was not. It was like midnight. Well, I guess that's kind of morning, but I think I wasn't even drinking. I was just playing with bluebirds. But yeah, so last week Frank had real estate stuff going on, so he was off at a real estate thing. And I'll repeat this because I like it, and it's my last time I get a chance to say it. I was fulfilling my duties as the Riverside County Office of Education's Parent Committee Vice Chairperson for the Head Start program for Riverside County. It's a huge title that I'm very proud of.
Good job, babe. I saw you got an award for that too, so nice.
I did. I got an award.
Oh, it's cool.
So we were training the new parents for the 2017-18 school year. So that's what I was doing. And then he was away. So yeah, so we were busy, and we tried to get around to doing this during the week, but our schedules are kind of intense, which is why we said Fridays at 9:30, because that's what we can do. So what are we going to talk about today? Oh, I get to decide?
Always.
Okay. Well, Michael said hi, Frank.
Hi.
So since I get to decide, I thought it would be fun, informative, and interesting to talk about interracial dating.
Dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. I don't know why I always feel the need to do that, but I think it's fun to do that.
Can we talk about that on Facebook?
Dun. Why do dun, dun, dun? Because
No.
I'm a dramatic person.
I know you are.
Okay,
Talk about interracial dating on Facebook.
Oh, yeah, why not? People talk about everything on Facebook.
All right.
You'd be surprised. Frank is not on Facebook as much as I am, but if you were, you'd be surprised at the things people talk about on Facebook.
Maybe it's good I'm not.
Okay, good. Okay, so we're going to talk about interracial dating. So I want to start off by pointing out, because people say this one phrase that drives me nuts, and I just want to peacefully, I guess you can't peacefully smack someone, but I want to choke in a loving way. I want to choke people who say, oh, that's the past. You should move past the past. I think that is the most ignorant statement that can come out of someone's mouth. It's just so dumb. You can never say to someone who's going through something or who feels a certain way about something that something's in the past, because obviously if it's on their mind, it's not in the past. So in the past, only 50 years ago, did the Supreme Court rule that interracial marriage was legal. Prior to 50 years ago, that's in our lifetime, our parents' lifetime. Prior to 50 years ago, you literally could go to jail for dating or marrying outside of your race in the United States. I mean, that to think about, it was only 50 years ago is crazy. I don't know if any of you guys have seen the movie Loving. And if you haven't, you have to see it. It's such an informative movie. Honestly, the movie was a little bit slow. There's no action, no one getting thrown across cars and fires and fireworks. But even though it was slow, it was super informative and surprising, especially if you don't know the situation with interracial marriage and the Supreme Court. But basically, there's this couple, Richard and Mildred Loving. That was just happened to be their name.
Yeah,
wasn't that so
cool.
appropriate? Their last name was actually Loving. That's so appropriate. But anyway, they were in the state of Virginia. He was white. She was African American and Native American, I think. But they lived in the state of Virginia only 50 years ago. And they were jailed for they tried to keep their love affair secret. Their families knew, but they really tried to keep it secret. They would drive separately, or she'd be in the back seat. And but people knew. There were rumors about what was going on, so people knew. So they would literally get arrested when caught, and I think they were arrested like Ryder. Ryder is biracial. He's half German and half many pinchers are German, and or Dobermans are German, so he's Mexican and German.
He's a Wiener Schnitzel.
That is so horribly.
Some girl told me that one day. I thought it was cute.
We're trying to educate people using racial slurs. Perfect.
No, she said it about herself. It was cute.
Anywho, back to my story to keep us out of trouble. So this couple was actually arrested a couple times. She would always stay in jail longer than he did, of course. So they got this huge lawyer who came to their aid and said, was able to get her out of jail, but the compromise with the courts was they would have to literally leave the state of Virginia. They had to leave the state. And so they ended up going to New York and being with her family that she had in New York, but it was like the Bronx and it was busy, and there were, her kid almost got hit by a car because it was just not the life they were used to, like a nice, easy Southern life. They had to leave their home and their family to go live in another state because the state of Virginia said you're not allowed here if you guys choose to stay married. So her first child was delivered by her mother-in-law, which was his mom, and she wanted her second child, I think the second or third child, to also be delivered by the mom. She's like, that was family to her. It was a big deal. She wanted her child to be delivered in Virginia by his mother, the baby's grandmother, and they made a midnight trek back to Virginia in the middle of the night in top secrecy and hiding so that she could have the baby at home, which was really sad and moving. And then, of course, they ended up getting arrested. But this time the case actually went to the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court ruled in 1967 that they were allowed to legally reside in the state of Virginia as a married couple. And that kind of opened the doors for interracial relationships to happen. Your last name was Loving. I just love that. So if you haven't seen the movie Loving, you have to see it. But again, this is one of the reasons why I say that I hate when people say, oh, that was in the past, leave in the past, because the past was only 50 years ago in this couple's situation. And being a part of the Head Start Council that I was talking about, one of the things that we were taught there is that things happen in 3 generations. 3 generations are affected by the decision of a family. So you have the parents who have whatever thought process they have, or however they treat their kids, or however, whether they're abusive, or whether they drink too much, or whether they are racist, or whether they believe in spanking, or whether they don't believe in spanking, whatever